All right, next up, y'all, we have one of the leading brand edibles plays in this industry. I'm thrilled to welcome Peter Barsoom from 1906 Edibles to the stage. My friend, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Elliot. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm Peter Barsoom. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of 1906. First, I want to introduce three members of our team here. First is Duke, who's our wonderful service dog and is responsible for all fundraising and opening up of dispensaries because nobody can say no to Duke. Natasha Lannard, who's our head of business and corporate development, and Shawnee Bradley, who's our head of finance. So if you have any questions or want to talk to us, catch any one of the four of us after or during the show. Today I want to share with you the story behind 1906, what our vision is, where we are today, and how we got here. I had a 20-plus year career in finance in New York. I left in 2014, and my wife and I started 1906 in 2015. On the thesis that as legalization expands, more and more consumers are going to want to come into the market for whom cannabis is not about smoking and it's not about getting high. And what they're looking for are alternatives to alcohol and pharmaceuticals in the management of the demands of their daily life. And that much of the cannabis market really has ignored that segment of the marketplace. It was very much true back in 2015. It still is true to some extent today, where much of the focus has been on high potency, low cost cannabis, focused on the heaviest users and consumers in the market, leaving much of adults, people like us, who are looking for functional ways and functional medicine, and particularly women and seniors. And so our belief is that most people, or there's a large and growing segment of adults and consumers who are looking for alternatives to alcohol and pharmaceuticals. They're coming in and their first question is not, how do I get high, or how do I get higher, or how do I get higher for cheaper, right? Their first question is, how do I get a better night of sleep? How do I find some relief for my pain? How do I find help with cognitive focus? And these have been the traditional uses that people have used cannabis for since the beginning of human history and our relationship with that. And so if you're a flower smoker, you're still in pretty good shape because you can select different strains that are going to meet those particular use cases that you're looking for. You typically have an opportunity to inspect the flower, to know if it's of a certain quality. You can smell it. And you know, okay, Jack Herrera works for me in a particular way, Durban Poison works for me in another way. But the problem is, if you're not a smoker, it's like jumping off of a cliff without a parachute. And three major problems with the non-smokables market is that, one, you have no idea how it's going to make you feel. Two, it takes way too much time to impact you. And three, it's often products made with poor quality ingredients or sugar or things that you don't necessarily want to put into your body. And so we started 1906, to serve that part of the market segment by giving people low dose, controlled dose products that deliver a specific effect and that are fast acting. We have the opportunity to supplant or supplement large portions of what people are doing today to help them manage sleep, focus, anxiety, pain, so on and so forth. And I'll walk through. I'm not going to walk through the deck, but I'll just bring up a couple of slides. So if we look, for instance, so we look at ourselves as going after the broader health and wellness market, energy drinks, $53 billion market, sleep, $50 billion market, sexual health, $21 billion market, focus, $16 billion, anxiety and depression, $12 billion market. These are the markets that we see ourselves going after, not just the traditional cannabis market. So we started our journey in 2015. We formed the company. We spent the first 2 years in R&D, and we developed two very specific innovations that we're known for in the market. One is our fast-acting technology. And so I'm a New Yorker. I believe that impatience is a virtue and that you shouldn't have to wait for anything to kick in. And so it was always kind of bizarre that, in this one sphere of our life, in the sphere of cannabis, it's okay to wait 60 to 90 minutes for something to kick in and you're not even sure if it's kicked in, which we all know kind of leads to a whole bunch of other consumer safety issues. And that's where people get into trouble with edibles, end up potentially, at risk in the hospital, scared, or turned off on the whole category itself. So our fast-acting technology, we have the only scientifically proven, clinically tested, patented technology for delivering cannabinoids faster into your system. This is a patent that we've licensed from a Canadian biosciences company that developed it for other molecules like nicotine and NSAIDs, and that we have partnered with them to make it work for cannabinoids. And so we've proven time and time again in a variety of different clinical studies that that this technology, which we've licensed from Lexaria, is the fastest technology for delivering cannabinoids into your system, where you feel it in under 20 minutes. The second major innovation that we introduced into the category is the combination of cannabis with other plant medicines. And so if you smoke, it's terpenes that modulate the behavior of the plant in order to give you a distinct effect. So why does Jack Herer operate a different way than, let's say, Durban poison? Our best understanding of the science behind this is that it's the different terpenes in those cultivars that modulate the effect and create that different physiological experience. Well, in ingestibles, terpenes aren't bioavailable, and so they have no impact on kind of our physiological reaction to a particular substance because terpenes are aromatic compounds. And so in the gut, they don't have an effect. And so we utilize other plant medicines and dietary supplements to create those specific experiences across our different products. And the good thing about where we stand in that is that there's a lot of science and clinical research behind these dietary supplements and plant medicines that we utilize in order to create a specific effect. So whether it be our Go product, which has a combination of caffeine, L-theanine, theobromine, and Alpinia galanga, all ingredients that have been well studied, and we understand the safety and the efficacy profile of that. And so that combination in specific ratios with THC and CBD give you that energizing feeling. Or on the other end is our Midnight product, which utilizes Corydalis, which is one of the best natural sleep aids that we know of there, which gives you kind of a great night of sleep. It's our formulations of cannabis with other plant medicines that are able to give that distinct effect across states and across people. And so we spent the first 2 years between 2015 and 2017 developing our formulations. We initially launched the brand in Colorado first with our chocolates, and we're known for having some of the best chocolates in the country. We make chocolate truffle pieces, chocolate covered coffee beans, and my favorite, which is our chocolate covered, which is our chocolate peanut butter cups. And then last year we branched out into pills, our drops, which are our pressed tablet format. Because for us at 1906, it starts with the question of how is it you want to feel first, and then secondly, how is it you want to consume? That most people go in there not with a, I'm in the mood for a gummy, or I'm in the mood for a chocolate, or I'm in the mood for a brownie. Most people go in there with a specific use case. I need something to help me sleep. And so the secondary question is then, well, how is it that you want to consume that? And so for us, it's always been about offering people different experiences that meets the use case of what it is that they're looking for. And then secondly, how it is that they want to consume. So in Colorado, we offer our chocolates. And then last year, we introduced our pressed tablets, which have taken the country by storm in every single market that we're in. Why pressed tablets, that you ask? Well, and this is where it's not always great just to go by quote unquote where the data is. Because if you look at the data, 70% of the edibles market are gummies. The last thing this world needs, frankly, is another cannabis gummy in the marketplace. And for us, it was always odd because when we think about medicine, and we call cannabis as medicine, that when we think about how does medicine show up, it typically shows up as a pill. right? We take a pill for sleep, that's Ambien. We take a pill for anxiety, that's Xanax. We take a pill for focus, that might be Adderall or Ritalin. So it was bizarre to us that in the cannabis market, particularly in medical markets, that the predominant way of consumption was gummies, and that in every other sphere of life, gummies are a small portion of the supplement or the medicinal kind of consumption pattern. And so we took a bet. We spent 2 years working in R&D to develop our press tablet lines, because we said, well, if this is going to work better, or at least as good as Ambien, Xanax, so on and so forth, we've got to go beyond just a capsule in a gel cap in a pharmaceutical-looking white bottle with a label on top. And we have to really rethink the kind of the whole pill category kind of more broadly, because pills have gotten a bad rap. Between the opioid crisis and the push of big pharma just to give us more pills, pills have gotten a bad rap. And so when we decided to introduce 1906 in a pill format, we needed to kind of rethink that entire way in which it was being manufactured, consumed, and presented to the market. And we started with from the shape of the pin, so we have of the pill. So we have a patent on our design, so that makes it easier to swallow. Each one is color-coded by the different experience. They're packaged in a beautiful tin, not in just a plastic pharmaceutical bottle, so as to make it distinct, sexy, approachable. And then we called them drops, not pills, to break the stigma of the pills. And so here's our line of 6 experiences. We launched this in January of 2020 in Colorado. Our revenue before that was 100% chocolates, 0% other form factors. Today, we're about 90% drops and 10% chocolates. And so this category is basically a new category that we created. And what we found in our thesis, our intuition was right, which is that people want a discrete, portable, no-calorie, sugar-free, gluten-free option for how it is that they consume their medicine. That they're used to taking Ambien as a pill. They're used to taking these other products in a pill or capsule format, and that the appeal of the drops would actually be pretty high, because it matches the way in which they think about medicine. And in fact, that success was borne out as we have expanded 1906 beyond just Colorado. So we launched in Colorado. We introduced the drops in January of 2020. We launched Oklahoma in September of 2020, then Illinois in December, then Massachusetts earlier this year. And I'm proud to say, and I think we have a chart that shows it, that we are now the number 2 oh yeah, there we go. That we're now the number 2 edibles brand in Massachusetts. So this chart on this side you can't really read, but within month 3 in Massachusetts, Incredibles, number 1 brand, 1906, number 2 brand, number 3 is Betty's, Coast, Mindy's, I Am Edible, Levia, so on and so forth. The reason why this is important is to show you that we're outperforming all of the gummy brands. So Incredibles is a multi-factor brand. They've been in the market kind of the longest in Massachusetts. They're doing a little bit shy of $3 million in sales a month. We're doing a little shy of $1.5 million. And this is within month 3 of when we're operating. I would assume by the end of this, by the end of the 4th quarter or early 1st quarter, we'll be the number 1 brand in Massachusetts, outperforming every single gummy brand. And so that goes to show you kind of the power of the drops, at least here in the Northeast market, which is where our focus of expansion is. Our expansion strategy, we've got an aggressive growth strategy. So like I said, we're now in 4 markets. Colorado, we're the number 1 non-gummy brand in Colorado. Illinois, we're a top 5 brand. Oklahoma, we're a top 5 brand. Massachusetts, we're the number 2 brand. And now we're bringing our drops to the rest of the country. We're particularly focused on limited license markets, where we like how we can operate in those markets. We know how to operate in Colorado. Colorado is one of the toughest markets in the country to operate in. Oklahoma, a really tough competitive market to operate in. And we think of Oklahoma and Colorado that's our boot camp. That's where we learn. That's where we get bruised up. That's where we develop our strategies. That's where it's really, really tough. And so that when we go into markets like Illinois, Ohio, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Missouri, that are more limited license markets, we rise to the top very quickly because we're trained well, because we've gotten beaten up in these more aggressive, competitive markets, and we've got a distinct product offering that resonates with consumers and bud tenders alike. So we're opening up Arizona. Arizona, we're in production right now. We're going to be opening up Arizona next month. We're going to be announcing Florida in the next couple of weeks as our second market that we're going to be opening up. So we anticipate we'll be in the first quarter of next year. We'll be in Florida. Then we'll be opening up Pennsylvania and Ohio. We announced the deal with Tilt. As some of you may have heard from Gary, who's the CEO of Tilt. So we've partnered with Tilt. We'll be opening up Pennsylvania and Ohio with Tilt. We'll be announcing a deal in Michigan in the coming weeks as well. And then we've got our eyes on the New York and New Jersey market. And so we've got a very aggressive growth strategy. One of the things you will notice that is not on the map is California. We have no plans to enter into California or any of the Western markets anytime soon. So definitely not next year. Maybe not in 2023. You know, we like the markets that we're in. Our strategy is to be the #1 brand east of the Rockies, and we will be successful at that strategy. And then we'll come into California when we feel it's appropriate, given kind of overall market dynamics and where we think the returns on invested capital are going to be the highest. Give you a quick snapshot. This year, we'll do about $26 million in wholesale sales, of which we recognize about 50% of that revenue, so 13 million of that. Next year, we'll do over 50 million in wholesale sales and recognize about half of that. And we've got a very distinct model that I just want to highlight. So typically, if you're a brand, you have two strategies for entering into a market. One is you can either acquire or win a license, and then associated with that, build out a factory, invest in fixed assets in that market, spend millions of dollars, take a lot of time and enter that market, and then you own 100% of the revenue. Or option two is go to another partner, license your brand, give them your SOPs, give them your packaging, get your 10%, 15% cut, and pray to God that they do as well as that you would do in that market. Neither of those two are appealing strategies for building a brand. And so we actually have, we've developed and now honed in over the last year plus a third path, which is we enter into agreements with licensed operators. We take up about 750 square feet of space in their operating facility. And we have now 2 mobile tableting operations. So it's basically a pharma operation sitting on the back of a 24-foot truck with coders, blenders, dehydrators, tablet presses, an entire pharma manufacturing operation that we bring from state to state. We will unload that 24-foot truck, take over 750 square feet of space, and within 24 hours, we're starting production. So our partner provides us the oil, our partner provides us the space, we roll in with our equipment, with our people, and all of the non-cannabis active ingredients. Because as I mentioned to you, it's not just about the cannabis, it's about all the other plant medicines that we utilize. And so we come in with our truckload of equipment and ingredients, we set up shop, and then we start production. And over the course of 4 to 6 weeks, we will produce millions and millions of pressed tablets of all of our products. So this latest production run that we're doing in Massachusetts right now, we'll produce over 10 million pressed tablets in the span of 4 weeks at our Massachusetts partners facility. And then our production team packs up, leaves, and moves on to the next state. So we will leave 10 million tablets with our production partner in Massachusetts. They are then responsible for packaging that and delivering to dispensaries. We have a sales and marketing team that is responsible for generating orders, getting product on the shelf, and getting product off the shelf. So as a brand, we control the 2 most important elements of what we think we need to control, which is production and sales and marketing. Our partner provides oil, they provide packaging, and they provide delivery and fulfillment. And then in those deals, we are getting between 50 to 60% of the wholesale revenue. So unlike other brands that are only getting 10 to 15% of the revenue, we're getting 50 to 60% of the wholesale revenue. We are nimble because we can move from one partner to the other if we don't like how they're operating. We protect our intellectual property because it's our people, our equipment always making our products. And we know it's always up to our standards, which are always higher than our partner standards there, because it's our brand. And we control the message. We control how we get into dispensaries and how our product is represented to consumers. The other thing that it affords is that we continue to get economies of scale because we're getting better and better at operating, and we're able to source ingredients and packaging and other input materials cheaper as we scale. Our margins will continue to improve. If you're one of those brands that is subject to a 10 to 15% license agreement, you have no opportunity for profit improvement because that's it, you're stuck. Now, all of that may go down to the bottom line, but you're capped at that. That's the best that you'll ever do. Whereas what we are seeing is that we continue to get two things better, which is improved economies of scale. And secondly, when it's time to renegotiate, we're actually able to extract better economics from our partners. So a little bit behind the story. Yeah. Yep. Oh, I'm done. So that's a little bit behind the story, behind 1906, why it is that we see ourselves as on a path to becoming the #1 brand east of the Rockies. Like I said, we're doing over $2 million a month in wholesale sales, which will go to $4 to $5 million a month next year. We're just closing out a final equity raise, which is on very, very attractive terms. So we reopened up our 2019 equity raise from 2 years ago. So we're raising right now at what is a 48 million pre-money valuation. If you look at any of the benchmarks, even yesterday's, that is a very cost-effective kind of entry point for those who are willing to come in. This will be the last time we'll raise at that price, given the trajectory that we're on. And we did that because it was mostly filled by our existing investors. So if you're interested in participating, we do take wires. Come and find Natasha, Shoni, or I. Happy to talk to you more about the story behind 1906 and why we're the brand to get behind.
Awesome. Peter Barsoom, everybody. Super impressive.